Okay, so for anyone who's not a musician, this sound will confuse you. But if you're an artist, you know what it means. Yep. Welcome to the roundtable conversation with me, Nana Yaw, sitting in for Joseph AB, who is a bit under the weather. As usual, it's just 20 minutes of amazing, educative conversation, and it's something that Joseph always does it with his squad. Gyakie, presenter at OnePlay Africa, as usual, lead creative and lead on OnePlay Woman Girl Tree, and then the amazing Yaw from OnePlay. I think the last episode of the roundtable, Yaw made some amazing insights, and we felt like, we have to bring him back.
Thank you, Sherif.
The industry needs a show that only educates and shares wisdom. It's a thought leadership show. Hopefully one day we can pull it to a conference center or a conference, and you can also come and listen to other speakers to share. Today, what are we talking about? Something very interesting. Last year I chanced on a video of Fameye Do in a session with music group Western, and I've also seen, can't just see Kim Promise. He gave shout outs to Kim Promise. I think he even mentioned it on Gyakie show with him on Shorts, now on OnePlay Plus on YouTube or on oneplayafrica.com/OnePlay+. The conversation is simple like this. Most of our Ghanaian artists, I'm not going to say the A-list, every one of them, from Black Sherif, Kwesi Arthur, Kim Promise, Darko Vibes, you name it, Bosompi Young, Kweku Smoke, they have had the chance to work with an international artist from either one of the big countries, either USA or UK. Sometimes they even work with big artists across the African continent, from Nigeria, Tanzania, and they also cut across to South Africa. These artists that they collaborate or they work with have one thing in common. They have big labels backing them. It's like they have big wolves screaming their names to the market and saying, go check out Davido. Recently, Kitty had a similar deal with Made in NY, Made in Eastern and NY. I did a review of Kitty's album, and guess who shared the video? Jack Knight. And it made me wonder, do our big names in the music industry, the likes of Yaw Tog, Kofi Jamal, and all these guys, do they need big label affiliations? You can tell, I haven't mentioned the 3 S's, Shatter, Sack, Stone. I'm looking at the generation that is leading the new wave. Kweku Flake, Kweku Darlington, Kwesi Arthur. Tilly, what do you think?
What you just said, by the way, hello to everybody. So actually, what you just said, it just reminded me of Joey Bison. No label at anyway. Any here crept in the roof. I think they all do. Our artists need bigger labels. I feel like there's so much your mind and power can do, and there's so much other people can also do, especially the big labels. When you're giving the intro, something just dawned on me. It's like me being a seamstress, and then another person working with a brand like say Dior or say Gucci. If that person says, oh Tilly, you're a good designer, come and let me put my label on your work. Can you imagine how much my content will sell just by having that label on my head? Keke, that still even a couple feel, but the already a Gucci and I would attire my and who label her baby. The number of people, the market I would have or I can get, I wouldn't have gotten it by doing it on my own, no matter how good I was. Do you get it? I think that's how the music thing is. Because mind you, these labels, they don't appeal to just one group of audience that these artists in Ghana find themselves appealing to, the Ghanaian audience and sometimes Nigerian audience and things. These people appeal to larger audience, not just Africa, the Eastern, the Western, all of them, they appeal to them. Now, you are a Ghanaian artist that have found a way of conquering the Ghanaian market. Mind you, even crossing to the Nigerian market is becoming a problem. So how about somebody that says that talent is good, you've done what you can do. Now, even if you need 100 billion to enter your money and your project to push it, do promotions in the Eastern and the Western, so you don't have. But we might not even need the 100 billion. We have the plugins, we have the connect. Just let us put our label on your head and clip. You do your own song. We are not coming to interfere with the song that you do. You are creative. You say you are doing things for passion. Do your passion. we will sell it. We will put our label on you and sell it. I don't know why anybody will say no to this thing.
I mean, I have a follow-up question, but I want to pick your answer. Person.
Yeah. Okay. So now the music business, I feel ownership is like, it's like the cool thing right now. Every artist or every executive is preaching ownership. Ownership as in independent artists owning your catalog or owning your music. With some of these international record label deals, most of them you would have to give out your masters, and the masters, when you give it out, it's like the only thing you're benefiting from is the advance that you get. So the back end royalties that is supposed to be coming on your masters, you might not get. That's some of the deals that the label give, and you understand most of our artists wouldn't like to go for such deals. There are other deals too, like the licensing deals. You've seen the like of Yaw Tog.
Yeah.
You've seen
Black Sherif.
You've seen Kiddy.
You've seen
You've seen Fameye's album.
You've seen King Promise.
Greater Than. Promise has some work with Sonny. We've seen Gyakie. And and the big label, what they bring extensive distribution network, and they bring wide marketing platform for you. So like Tilly said, it opens bigger audiences for you. So your revenue bucket or basket becomes bigger. Means because now you are tapping into different markets and different places. You saw what Whiskey did in O2. It doesn't come without having such partnership. You need such major partnership to be able to book venues like that, because they are able to push you in markets that we know is very, like, has a lot of currency in terms of music business. The UK market, the American market, the SA, the eastern part of Africa, the Latin markets, the Japan, and all these markets. These labels have wide area network access to all these markets. That's why sometimes you need partnership with them. You necessarily don't need a record label, but you need strategic partnership with some of these labels to be able to carry your career to the next level.
I'll come to, but I wanted to ask you, this leave me the point. Let's do some case in point here. So Shatta Wale worked with Beyonce.
Yeah.
Gyakie signed to Sonny.
Sorry.
Whose impact did you feel? Shatta as an indie artist, getting to work with one of the biggest artists in the world aside Michael Jackson, and Gyakie getting the backing of Sonny. Whose impact did you feel?
Okay, so it was forever under the auspices of Sonny.
The remix.
The remix was under the auspices. Okay, so can I ask a question back?
No, my job is to ask questions.
Could Shatta Wale and Beyonce's song had been big like Black Skin Girl was? Could it have been like that?
Could Shatta Wale's song with Beyonce already, could it have been big like Black Skin Girl?
It could have.
I want to know. Could
to ask questions.
Okay.
Anyway, I feel like it could have.
It could have.
Yeah.
What stopped it?
Wasn't the song big enough?
No, it wasn't. As compared to
already?
Yes, as compared to Black Skin Girl.
Isn't
personally, I feel brown skin, brown skin was big. It was big because of what what's his name? Wizkid also had going on for himself as a solo artist.
Are you sure? I have a question for you. I mean, because you were a curator and you work with one of the biggest African music platforms, OnePlay. So you understand the question. But let's solve this thing quick before I go for a break. Wizkid message for brown skin against Shatta Wale's message for already. Obviously, if you are an artist or if you're a lady, you will fall in love with the brown skin message against a party song like already. I don't think that music had a role to play. Okay. The labels had a role to play, because I asked the question because you said these big labels have international, like a wider scope of marketing. But here we are where Shatta Wale was an indie artist, and he got to do a feature with one of the biggest icons in the world.
Okay, so for even Shatta Wale himself, to him, it came to him, as he said, one of the miracles that happens in his career is a feature with Beyonce, because nobody expected it. But if a Gyakie or somebody signed on such a label, it will never come to us as a miracle, because it is something that is orchestrated. Do you get it?
Hold your thoughts. Let's go for a break. I know that there's a young artist called Chief, and I love him so much, and he has a message. Listen.
Imagine Yaw Tog zok po. Amamala shinyo tama zok po. Oni ade fine lakbo kokoko. Any I be lakbo kokoko. What's up, lovely people? It's your favorite boy Chief, one kid, the Kedo superstar, and you're watching OnePlay Africa. I got change your crown. Gima.
Welcome back. This is the roundtable conversation with me, Nana Yaredi, sitting in for Joseph AB. You know what he always says. Love y'all, man. You know, Joseph, wherever you are, stay strong.
And we love you
soon. But we're having a conversation on the impact of a record label in the life of an artist. And the question is simple. Do our big names, once again, Kwesi Arthur, Yaw Tog, Black Sherif, Bosumpinyo, Kweku Smo, Kofi Jamal, Kweku Darlington, Kweku Flake, the Asaka Boys, J Bad, Kenneth, one of my favorite rappers in 2021. I love that boy. Do they need a big label to go to the big market, or they can be indie artists and go to the big market? You were making a point about Gyakie. If Gyakie was signed to a label and the future came, it wouldn't be a surprise. But isn't that the reason why, if I'm a big artist, I wouldn't want to sign to a label? Because I don't need surprises, I need work to be done.
Exactly. These labels, they don't give surprise, they give work. The reason why it came as a surprise to Shatta Wale was because he didn't think that such a thing could come to him. It came as a surprise. But someone like Gyakie, if he's with Sony or whichever label she's with, their work is to get those surprises happening every year for her. Do you get it? Let me give you a typical example. When which artists, okay, so labels, or when it comes with the distribution, whatever that they take care of, they make sure that their sole job of a label is to make sure that you are getting more money as an artist, your music is traveling. So if they have to orchestrate collaborations with bigger artists under their label for a young artist, it can happen.
Hold on.
No,
I mean, listen, this was it's 20 minutes. We have to go time. I want to ask you a question. Think about it. When I come back, you give me an answer. There have been conversations internationally that labels are ripping artists off, and that artists must not sign with labels. Here you are in Ghana, pitching our big artists to sign with a label. Think about it.
And I want
Is it
to
necessary?
now.
I'll come back to you. Yeah.
So yeah, let's go back to Brown Skin Girls and talk about it. So the Lion King album, which label released the album? Was it Sony? I think Sony, because Beyonce is signed to Columbia. Columbia is under Sony. And Wizkid is with RC. RC is also owned by Sony.
Yeah.
So then, which one do you think Sony would deliberately push?
Is it a question of deliberate push?
Because
or a question of which song will need?
It's not like which song, yeah. But then you also agree with me that at the time they dropped the Lion King, at the time they started pushing the individual singles, Wizkid was preparing to drop the Made in Lagos album. They are on the same label. They need something to bridge into the release of that album, so they had to make his single bigger in preparation for the album that was coming. So some of these things, Charlie and her think like there's somebody at the back engineering stuff to make sure things are properly done, so that you just don't come and drop. If Shatta had someone inside Sony building or had a team inside the Sony building, I honestly think already would have been given much more attention, because already is one of the best songs.
This calculation, Empire had a licensing deal with Yaw Tog.
Yeah.
And probably for the remix.
Yeah.
With
Stormzy,
yes.
Stormzy and Kwesi. Yeah.
Weighing the song,
Yeah.
because it's Empire.
Yeah.
Impact against Gyakie on Sony Forever remix. Did you have an impact against Shatta Wale's already?
As in the
locally, African continent, right? I'm asking because Shatta is an indie artist.
Yeah, he is.
There's no big label back. Yaw has
Empire
behind him.
Yeah.
Gyakie has
Sony. Yeah.
At the time for the remix behind her. Yeah. This triangle, which impact did we feel more?
Is it definitely you will feel the Yaw Tog stories and the Gyakie's impact very more, because you also need to understand that both labels were they were all also trying to make a statement in the market. I mean, Empire and Sony Music West Africa, and they were all trying to find big wins in in 2021, because from 2020 to 2021 we all saw the big labels coming in the market and everybody's trying to find a big win. Empire was leading the pack. So definitely when Sony had Gyakie, the time they had Gyakie, the song was already moving wild on Trailer. So Sony already knew, look, when we put in hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever currency it is, we're definitely going to make this record big. We need someone that we can point to and say, look, this is our success story. When you speak to all the Sony exec, they are all pointing to Gyakie. They needed that success story. Empire needed a success story in Ghana because they started operating locally in Ghana. They had Kiddy, they had a license deal with Fameye, they had a staff with Asaka. They needed a success story in Ghana. We saw the placement, the BET amplified. We saw everything that came for Yaw. These things are people who make that intentional decision. Look,
but I mean, listen. You see, the market value share for Empire to push a marketing budget of, let's say, £2,000 for Yaw Tog is as easy as Shatta Wale pulling a $5,000 to do a project, because when you say BET amplification, I mean Black Sherif has a song on Brand Daily every single time he does.
That's what I'm saying.
And even Kofi Dama had a song on Brand
So
Daily.
my point is this.
Without any
Fact,
backing.
yes, but you also agree with me that Yaw's extensive push is more than the Jamas and all these names you are talking about.
But Ekosu broke a record.
Ekosu broke a record, but Ekosu is not as huge. The value of that asset is not as huge as Charlie. Shout out to Kofi Jama. That's a big song.
Sorry, the remix
I'm talking about.
Ekosu is not as big as.
I mean, not in terms of the value. Yeah. You understand? You need to look at the two features artists on it, Stormzy and Kwesi. Those are two huge. So the value of that asset is bigger than Ekosu. Even though Ekosu was a bigger song in 2020, right? I stand to be corrected. 2020, yes, it was a bigger song in 2020. But sorry, a remix was needed. They needed that, that conversation to start, because the moment they acquired the original and they had the opportunity to do the remix with Stormzy, when you have Stormzy, you wouldn't let the record just lie, or like I said last week, treat the record like an orphan, let it go by itself. You have to be very intentional about it. The Shatta thing you said, if Shatta makes a plan or makes up in mind, he and his team say, look, this year we are going to set aside this amount of money and focus on this market, they can equally achieve it.
Hold on, thought. I mean, there's a funny question I think.
You asked the question.
Yes,
but because you left, I forgot the question. So
no, the question is that in the ecosystem of music management and big labels, artists who have had success with big labels, I'm talking about Kanye, I'm talking about records. You name them. Recently, Big Sean went after Kanye West saying Kanye owes him $6 million because a certain money from Universal didn't reach him.
Okay.
These are artists who are saying that don't sign to the labels, and here you are trying to pitch our big names to the labels.
Okay, I feel like one thing that we lack, or these artists they lack around them, is even knowing what they deserve when they go on the table.
Explain.
So I tell you, I'll buy you an iPhone. Cool, you've come. If you are not aware that there is an incoming iPhone 15, and then I tell you that 12 is okay, and you would stoop for the 12, you can't complain when your dad comes and he bargains for 15 and then he gets the 15. That is the problem with most of our artists here in Ghana too. They don't even know what they are signing, or they don't understand how far they can stretch, or these labels can stretch for them to get what they want either. So you see a Nigerian manager sitting on a label or in a label conversation with a Ghanaian manager. The kind of deals this manager for a Nigerian artist is able to pay for their artist, a Ghanaian cannot do, because they don't even know that all those things are even capable. You must know what you can get first before you can go on the table, because mind you, it is business and it's all about bargaining. We can do this, this is not it. So if you don't know, most of the times these things that you're saying they will rip it, you don't rip them off. You don't know what you deserve actually. You don't know, or you don't have somebody on the table having strong conversations for you. That is the problem. You don't have.
Hold on, guys, hold on. I think we might have to go for another break and come back and wrap up, because we are about to talk about something sensitive. If you have the chance to pitch a Ghanaian artist to a label, I'm going to mention the label: Sony, Universal, Atlantic, and you have names like Kwesi Arthur, Sarkodie, you have names like Stonebwoy, Shatta. Which label are you going to pitch them to, and why? When we come back, we wrap up the conversation here. This is the roundtable conversation with me and Anaya. Stay tuned.
Let's say about Tilly.
look me like zombie. Don't play with me. I know Bilu do or chobi. Don't play with me. Yo, people, these are the original AK songstress, the Dancehall Empress, the Don Dana, and you're watching OnePlay Africa. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
One of the biggest songs in 2021, if I'm mistaken, was Jemapel by Darko Vibes and Davido. Davido has a backing with a big label, but Darko Vibes from Ghana was able to pull an African or a continental hit so far. As an indie artist, I don't know why we want them to sign with a big label, but I want to find out from Yaw Dan before I ask you the question I said before the break. That Yaw, you work with one of the biggest African music platforms called OnePlay. Now, OnePlay Ghana, I have seen you guys do partnership with indie artists in Ghana. Yeah. Mr. Drew is one. Yeah. When he says is also there.
Sure.
Now, if Mr. Drew is able to get a partnership advancement deal with OnePlay Music Ghana, why should I go for a big label?
Anyway, this is your question. That's my brand, and definitely I will tell you to do a partnership deal with OnePlay. Because ownership is everything. But then it depends on the deals that the labels are presenting to you, the artists, because there are different kind of record deals from the labels. The Big Sean example you cited. Yeah. After the time Sean was signing with Kanye, I don't think he had any leveraging power. He was like a new artist with no record out, because he said he freestyled to Kanye at a radio station. That's how he got a deal with Kanye. And when you come in with no leverage like that, that means the label are going to spend a ton amount of money.
Do they really spend the money?
They do, because
if a label has partnerships and has blogs, and they say a marketing budget is, let's say, $20,000, the $20,000 is in value, right? Which means it's going to be partnership and cost. So, like, I sit here as OnePlay Africa, OnePlay Music, and then I call Yaw Dan. My artist has a new song coming. I call Tilly, say, can you publish an article for me? Can you host my artist for me?
But they spent money to build that relationship that they can easily pick a phone and call and make it happen. They did. The relationship didn't just happen. I mean, the labels spent money to build every relationship they have. I believe so. They did.
That is true. For me to sit in a sunny conversation means that I might have worked so hard all the time.
They did spend money. Because today we know about Big Sean. After the time he freestyled to Kanye, you didn't know. I don't think anybody in Chicago knew him at that time. But Detroit, sorry, forgive me. Detroit knew him at that time. But the label, as in Good Music and Def Jam, spent money in making him a pop star. He's a pop star. So the money that went into the marketing and all the distribution, after the time he broke out, we were still moving physical CDs. So these people were moving CDs to every music market you can think about. They were shipping them. You understand? So the label do spend money. Some of our big artists here don't need to go and sign like a new record label with the labels. They can have JV, like a joint venture deal, because some of our artists have big leveraging power. They have what the size of their catalog, the value of the catalog, how deep and how extensive their catalogs are. They have huge leveraging power that they can go to these labels and say, look, I'm not giving away my masters. I want us to have a joint venture, do a 50-50 partnership, but then I want you guys to recoup on my back catalog. So all my new releases on the label, you guys are not going to recoup on it. You recoup on all my songs that have dropped already. Let's say Sarkodie can sign a deal with Empire today.
And it's good you mentioned Sarkodie, because
that's an example. That's an example. Let's say Sarkodie signs a deal with Empire today and tell them, look, I want to license my back catalog with you from the first album to the very last one. Give me $100,000. An example. So Empire can look at the value of that catalog, give Sark that money, and Sark will tell them, look, recoup on the back catalog, don't recoup on my future releases. So all revenue that will be coming on Mary, Black Love, Rapaholic, Mache, the recent one, No Pressure, all the revenue coming out of that is what Empire is going to recoup on. That's another deal. There's what we call a license deal. That's what most of our artists are into lately. So you have like a project, this label will give you an advance, and they take the project for like a certain period. So let's say OnePlay Africa release Nana Yaw's EP, then Yaw Dan Records. I can't give you an advance of $50,000. I take the EP, I license it, let's say for 5 years. So for 5 years, I will own the EP. You will not see any revenue from the EP because I'm giving you an advance. 50,000. Let's say you keep 20,000 and I spend 30,000 in marketing the album.
But you see, hold on. You see, this is a question I want to ask you before the sad question is. I have TikTok.
Yeah.
I have Trailer.
Yeah.
I have Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
I have Snapchat.
Yeah.
These people are paying two-way royalties to me,
Yeah.
back end and
Yeah.
front and
Yeah.
front.
True.
Why do I need to sign to a label to get an advance of 50,000 when I can go 1 billion hits on Trailer, for instance, and spike my hits on
But
OnePlay?
Nana, you know the 1 billion views and things like that. It don't happen in a day or two.
The same thing with this label.
No. If a label gives you money today, it's because we all know that artists always need money. The thing they produce, they need money for them. Videos, audio, everything around artists is money.
Okay.
This artist needs money. So if somebody is giving you an upfront money that you don't have to wait on the revenue that will come on the release, that you have it upfront, that you can use and do other projects and move on and do other projects while they will coop on that. And you know, in 5 years time, you still come back and own the thing, that asset again. You know, like you look at it like me. I personally feel like that's one of the best deals you can have currently. To me, you know.
So somebody told me that these streaming money and things like TikTok and those kind of things, they are more of insurance for the artists. Can I go on?
Yes.
Okay, so then these things are possibilities.
Yeah.
These
Mind
are
you,
possibilities.
They are all how do we even say it? They are hopeful.
Yes.
As they put it, they are hopefuls. So I'm hoping that I drop this project, and by God's grace, Kanye West will say he might be dropping, and then I can do that thing.
Or you go viral on TikTok.
Snake Queen biggest and he picks my new song proposal.
That's not true because
let me
these
finish.
things are generated by machines.
Let me finish. Oh, you let that talk on the show.
I'm just trying to make sure that you don't confuse my viewers, because these days hits are generated by machines. You know what I'm trying to say? You've heard a lot of rappers say that in their music, like, you tell me I don't have number one because you are using machines to generate hits. So if you say that, I can disagree.
I don't think it's hit. I think it's plays that are generated by machine. Hits cannot be generated by machine.
I mean, multiple.
Can I
Please.
finish? Can I finish so that if you don't understand, then we can. Because right now you sound confusing people that you don't even finish sharing my point.
Go ahead.
I'm saying that you are hoping that these things will happen, or at least my thing will it will shoot up, it will trend, it will do a. Meanwhile, somebody is giving you an actual something tangible now. Mind you are not relinquishing all the rights to the person or giving the thing outright. He's saying that you are living on a hopeful that in the next 5 years this song might have amassed, let's say, $100,000 for me. I am giving you $1 million. Your song, mind you, he is actually taking a risk. But your song might not even amass that.
Bigger one.
It might not even hit.
You have to do a part 2 of this show.
The machine can only spike the numbers. But hit songs are the people.
Okay, I know you have something to say, but we'll do this show again. We'll do a part 2 for you guys.
Let me just finish with this.
But no, keep it. Next week we'll do. But before I go, I want to find out from just quick. Just say it. I'm going to mention you a label and pitch a Ghanaian artist to the label. I'm going to pitch a label. Yeah. Do you have anybody? Should we try it?
Do research and know why I'm pitching who to whom.
No, we are not saying. We are not saying that. We are not. For instance, to me, listen, I'm going to say this on record. I think one of the most amazing talent that we have in Ghana is Bosom Pignon. And if Bosom is able to get extremely comfortable and support from Empower, I think Bosom will take us to where we have to go. Because you see,
Empire or Empower?
Empower. Okay. Because Bosom does a lot of partnership with Empower.
Okay.
So I think that Empower can back him up and take us to where we need to go. We'll see you guys next week for a part 2 of the roundtable conversations with me and Yaw Radio, starting for Joseph AB. Next week we'll talk about this same thing in the next maybe a part 2. But I might not be here. It might be Joseph, so we have a good one. I think I learned a lot. Thank you guys so much, Tilly. Thank you, Yaw from OnePlay. I'm grateful for your thoughts. You guys are amazing. You guys are so dope. I'll see you next week. Subscribe to the channel. Bye.
OnePlay. Add class to your music.